This will show the how to do the final introductory assignment from the summer 2023 quarter 9-week class, that is. I've just opened up a brand new drawing. Here's the finished assignment from your handout. There's the answers. If you want to freeze screen and jot those down, I'll show them to you later. And again, we started a brand new start from scratch drawing. I'm going to turn off the window screen as always. You leave it on if you like it. Turn off these. You haven't learned auto snap tracking yet. So I got you on just dynamic input, polar tracking, set for 90 degrees to start with, and running object snaps set to the 5. Let me turn off tangent. I've been experimenting with it. Still don't know that I recommend leaving it on. So the running object snaps are set for endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant, and intersection. Okay, this first part will just draw the green lines. Later, we'll develop the layers, the text style, the dimension or the text properties that are separate from the text style, and the dimension style. If time permits, I'll get more videos showing the layers, text style, text properties, and dimension style. Oh, and how to do the area and perimeter numbers. We'll cover those topics later. And again, right now, this short video is just going to do the green lines. Let's build a wire frame. I want to know where the center of these two big and small jelly bean shapes here, curvatures is, that is. I want to draw a line from that point to that point, and another line from that point to each of these center lines. They can be found by drawing these diagonal lines shown in magenta in the dimensions. And then I'll draw this red arc, starting with a circle, where the magenta line crosses the red arc, center of the two circles that will eventually be trimmed down to just 180-degree arcs. These two arcs are the same as these two arcs. So let's begin. We'll just drawing on layer 0 now. I'll draw the line from that point right there over, and then an arc from that point right there to form this arc. There's a line. I'll draw it 40 units to the right. A bit longer than I thought. That's okay. Now then, at this right end, at the right end of this 40-unit line, I'll draw these two circles. The smaller one is a diameter of 37. Diameter of 36. And the large one is a diameter of 64. So we'll drop down circle flyout toolbar, pick center diameter icon. O snap at the end using the running endpoint O snap of the 5 running O snaps. Click. It's asking for diameter. I'll start the small one at 36, enter. Double check it with properties. Yep, 36. Little reminder, if your properties are not on, select one object, and then in blank space, right click. Whoops. Oh, nuts. Okay, looks like not a problem. I'll turn on the properties with this little red arrow here at the lower right corner of the properties panel on the home tab of the drafting and annotation ribbon. Now we'll select it, and you'll see it's 36. I'll have to fix, I believe pick add is set wrong. No, don't know why. Where was I? We want to start a line here and draw a circle that is has a radius of 125. Later we'll trim the circle so we got it manageable down to what will eventually become that red arc. Okay, we'll draw a drop down circle center radius, because that arc is dimensioned with an R for radius. We'll O snap at that left end point of the 40 unit horizontal line. It's asking now for the radius. That would be 125. Enter. Now the hard part. How do we get these diagonal lines? Well, we could set additional polar tracking angles so we get polar tracking lines in both directions. They don't have to be a specific length, just long enough to pass this red center line. I'd prefer, rather than adding polar tracking lines, let's just draw one straight to the right and rotate it to 65. So it'll end up being at an angle of 65 degrees from there to the upper right. Then let's copy it on itself and select the fresh copy to rotate using the bottom as a base point, another 35 degrees counterclockwise. So we're going to use the rotate command instead of setting the polar tracking angles. Polar tracking angles might be a couple steps quicker, but I'd like you to exercise the rotate command for good measure. We'll draw a line. We'll start at this end point as same as the 40 unit line is. We'll polar track straight to the right, plenty of distance. I'll make it say 165-ish. Now let's rotate this line and thumbtacking this left end is the base point, 65 degrees counterclockwise. I'll hit escape to deselect, click rotate, select the line, hit enter. It's asking for base point. That's the thumbtack point for the rotate procedure. We want to put the thumbtack on this line at the left end. Now the command prompt says specify rotation angle. Like ignore the, and we could use copy, but ignore both options for now. The rotation angle, we want to be about 65 degrees here. So put your cursor anywhere. I'm guessing it'll be about right there. 6, 5, enter. Okay, now we want to rotate a copy of this line another 35 degrees to go this direction, slightly counterclockwise of straight up. See, this line is close to straight up, but it's a hair counterclockwise of straight up. We'll go to copy icon, copy this line using the exact same point for base point and second point. So now we got two lines on top of each other. Sometimes maybe hard to see, but the screen shows it a hair darker than a single object. You know, it shows like a pixel, like 2 pixels of the monitor instead of 1. So it's slightly bolder or darker. Confirm that, I'll begin to erase. With a crossing window, I'll select them both. Notice the command line has found 2 objects. So that confirms that is 2 lines occupied, which using the exact same start and finish points. I'll hit escape before I carelessly erase it. We'll launch the rotate command. I'll select a new one. If you got a stack of objects, AutoCAD usually or possibly always selects the newest on the stack of objects. Not sure I trust that for 100% of the time. I'll hit enter to finish selecting what I want to rotate, just the one object. The AutoCAD command now says specify base point. We'll click that bottom end point. Now it asks for rotation angle. I'll type 3.5 for 35 degrees angle to rotate counterclockwise 35 degrees. Okay, there's our V. And these are the 2 points that are the right and left ends of those 2 jelly beans at the top of this mechanical piece. I forgot to point out, as always, turn off your object snap or turn off all your status bar buttons except the 3 we've learned so far in this class. Dynamic input, polar tracking set to 90, and running object snap set to those 5. For good measure, periodically click on this little customization 3 horizontal lines and ensure that all buttons are visible. If you have some that are unchecked, they may be on, but you'd never know it because you don't see them on the status bar. Back here, the small circle we'll draw, we'll trim it down to an arc later. That is a radius of 12. The large is an additional 12, so that would be 24 radius for the large arc. Again, we'll start it with a circle, later trim down to an arc. I'll drop down to, or I'll select circle radius. O snap, whoops. O snap at the end point. Nope, I'm sorry, O snap at the intersection. Yeah, we want to place the circle up here. Small one is a radius of 12. Type 12, hit enter. We'll make the second one while we're here. We could offset this one out, but let's exercise circle center radius icon. O snap at the center of that circle or the intersection of the objects, whichever object snap finds the point first, and we'll make this a radius of 24 and hit enter. Now we want to draw the exact same circles over here. Being incredibly lazy, I'm just going to copy these 2 from that point to that point. We'll come over here to the copy icon, select the 2 circles we just drew, hit enter to finish the selection set. AutoCAD saying specifies base point. That would be dead center of the 2 circles. I'll zoom in. That intersection is dead center. Click. Now it's asking for second point for the copy procedure. I'll O snap at this intersection of the line and the circle here and hit enter. Save your file. I'll just leave it drawing 1 because I've done this several times before. So click save. Might be already there. Let's see. Save. Nope. No drawing name. Drawing 1. Okay, let's draw a circle that'll eventually be trimmed down to make this arc. Okay. Actually, we can draw the arc completely with the fillet command. The arc up here must be drawn by circle, tangent, tangent, radius. We'll get to that in a minute, but this one can be a little bit quicker using the fillet command to draw a arc from that point to that point. Okay, let's go to the fillet icon. Radius of a brand new drawing says is set to for 0. So let's pick the radius option of the fillet command and change the fillet radius setting to, oh boy. Oh, whatever this distance is. Duh. So rather than doing arithmetic to figure out what that distance is, let's just enter that distance graphically. So we'll click on this line. AutoCAD says, okay, what distance from that point you just picked? It's asking for second point to define the radius. I'll come up to that intersection. Later, next time we do a fillet, we'll see what that radius actually is. Fillet command now says select the first object to barely touch with the fillet arc. Now it says select the second object for the arc to barely touch. So there we've got this short arc here between the two intersections. Just for grins, let's launch the fillet command again, and the radius is set for 101 now. If we did the arithmetic, yeah, radius of 125 minus 24, that's where the radius of 101 comes from. I hate doing arithmetic. Let's hit escape to terminate the command in progress. All right, there. Come on, Burgener. Okay, I don't know why I had to click on the command prompt. I'm back to type a command. Let's do a circle TTR for tangent radius method of drawing a circle. Click tan radius icon. We want the circle to barely touch near the top dead center, one side or the egg. Well, it could be on the intersection, but I might accidentally click this line instead of click the circle. So I'll click zoom in by rolling the IntelliMouse wheel toward the screen. Click the point you expect the circle to barely touch. Come over here and pick the point you expect the circle to barely touch. Last step of the tangent radius method is specify the radius of the circle, still set from 24 from making a circle earlier. That will be the distance from there to there, much like we did before. So I'll say the distance is from there, it's asking for second point, to there, which will be 125 plus 1 plus 24, 139, I believe. Okay. Let's check the properties of this circle to confirm. I'm sorry, 149. 125 plus 24 is 149. Right there, 149. Good. You see why I hate doing arithmetic. What else? Oh, we got to draw a second circle here. I should have done that earlier. That circle is 36. To define this green circle at the bottom of the machine part here, we'll drop down circle center diameter. Click at that end point or center of the circle. They're the same point. It's now asking for specified diameter of circle at the far right end of the command area. That again is 64 diameter. Circle slash means diameter. So let's type 64 and hit enter. Okay. We need to add the arc here. Actually, that could be this arc offset inward 12 units. Let's do that. rather than draw filleting again. There to there. Let's just occur to me. Let's offset that arc. Here's the offset command. It makes concentric circles and arcs. Parallel copies of diagonal lines. Click on offset icon. We'll select, oh, I forgot. Offset command first asks for distance. Well, this offset here is 12 units. So let's set the offset distance to 12 and hit enter. Select what we want to offset and click upward to place the offset copy upward, not downward, but upward. Click. Now we can select this. We can offset this new arc a distance of 24 to develop the arc across the centers there. Unfortunately, offset command, we got to start from scratch again. We can't change the offset distance in the middle of making offset. Well, we could offset this circle upward 12, which is the offset distance. Let's hit escape or enter to terminate the offset command. It says type a command again. Click the offset icon again, or hit enter to launch the last used icon, or last used command, I should say. Specify the offset distance. That would be the diameter of the small circle here, which is 24. Radius is 12, so the diameter is 24, 2 times the radius. Well, that means type 24, hit enter or space bar. Select that arc we just did, and we can offset it 24 units up or down. Click above to place it above. We need a line here to here, tangent at each end, and we need an arc left here. Which do you want to do? Let's do the arc here. That's the same way as we did this original bottom arc here. The fillet command, but the radius setting is 120, shown in the command, the PDF file of your handout here. Click on AutoCAD to guide the cursor. We'll click on the fillet icon. Radius is still 101 from, I forget which arc that was. This one. Anyway, we'll click radius to change the radius setting from 101. It's asking, okay, specify the fillet radius you want. Again, 120 for 120. Hit enter. Now it's asking for the first and second object that you want the arc to touch. Touch near but not at that horizontal line. And approximately, what's that, 8 o'clock position. There. Now be aware, the end of this arc is not at that line, slightly above. Probably would have been wiser to click slightly above instead of slightly below, but it was close enough that there was no question which side of the circle I was specifying to have the arc touch. Be aware that there's a little whisker there, and we may have to trim that apart later to find the area of this this green area here in the center of the machine part. Again, pan over. Here's the area we're looking for. And the perimeter, or the length all around that area, is that amount. Pan back to get the full view of the green. I'll hit enter to deselect that fillet. Oh, forgot to click in AutoCAD. Enter, there we go. Last thing ink I need to add before I erase and trim ink away is a line, straight line from there to there, tangent to there, tangent to there. Now it is not from the quadrant, the 3 o'clock position to the 3 o'clock position, because these circles are not centered perfectly one above the other. So we need to use the tangent O-snap override instead of the quadrant object snap. Remember O-snap overrides? They're O-snaps for one-time use only that override the running snaps we got under the status, the running O-snap status bar. Okay, I'll click in white space to close that cursor menu. So watch how we do an O-snap override for rare use of a object snap that overrides the 5 we got set with the O-snap status bar button. And remind you, O-snap overrides or override O-snaps are only good for a single point. So we'll need to use it twice, once at the top and once at the bottom. We'll start with line icon or command. O-snapping at the 5 running O-snaps, midpoint, intersection, quadrant, endpoint, center. So to invoke an O-snap override, hold the shift key on your keyboard, either side of the keyboard. While holding it, right click. And from endpoint all the way down to nearest or O-snap overrides. Or you could turn off none. We want tangent. The line will just barely touch the circle like a string going around a spool. Click tangent. You can release the shift key. I'll O-snap a little bit below the quadrant. There is a little range of areas to specify. Yeah, I want it to barely touch on this right side of the circle. Click. Command prompt says specify the next point. Well, check it out. We're back to the 5 O-snaps again. Intersection, endpoint, center, quadrant, midpoint. So we need an override O-snap again. Hold the shift key down. Right click again. Pick tangent again. And click slightly below the quadrant of this circle. Click. Hit enter to terminate the line process. Save your file in your folder, folder in the documents folder or the shared drive if you can. Now we need to trim and erase stuff that's not good. Now, some of this, like these 2 lines, could be used later for dimensioning, but let's draw them later. Yeah, let's get down to just the green here. I'll hit escape to deselect. I'll click erase. I'll erase the 3 guidelines I drew. Remember, that one's 40 units long. Enter. Everything else is a trim procedure. Click the trim icon. By default, 2022 thinks everything is a cutting edge, so I'll have to click a lot of places. Later, I can come back and erase these 2 segments rather than trim, 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 trim. Let's see, I can erase this circle. Let me trim this circle. It's a good idea to have the entire circle visible. What the heck? Well, I'm still in the trim command. Okay, I can turn on the erase option of the trim command, but rather than complicate the procedure, let's hit escape to finish the trim procedure and invoke the erase command, rather than teach you the erase option of the trim command. Click erase. I want to erase that entire circle. I want to erase that entire arc and that entire arc. I forgot these little pieces here, rats. Hit enter to erase those things. You reinstate the trim command to get these 180-degree arcs trimmed away. Trim, click there, hit enter. Now, just for good measure, I'm going to move this a little bit away from the 000 UCS origin here. Launch move, select everything, hit enter, and I'll move it a little bit in the positive X, positive Y quadrant. Just for good housekeeping, good habit. Save your file. There's our object lines, or the visible lines. Let's see, I'll slide it over. And we'll Z enter, enter. Make it as close to the same size as we can for comparison. Okay, recenter the drawing. The next video will show how to make the layers, text style, dimension style, and set the text properties. All the stuff in the black text here. See you next video.